Why don't you always give me the long one, man? How many do we have?
Two.
All right, go to that way sometime. We doing this before.
Entertain a motion to reconvene into open.
So moved.
Motion by myself, second by Mr. DiPiero. Roll call.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes. At this time, I'd like to turn this over to Mr. Inglesino.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. The primary purpose of this meeting, I think as you all know, is to fill the vacancy that was created by former Councilman John Cicero, who resigned from office on June 13 to attend to his duties as a Morris County freeholder. Under the law, the county committee has 15 days from the date of the resignation to submit 3 names to the governing body, and then the governing body would choose from one of those 3 names, and then that person would fulfill the seat. So the county committee has until June 27th, or tomorrow evening, to fulfill that responsibility. Last night, June 25th, the county committee convened, and the county committee voted to submit 3 names to the council. In alphabetical order, those candidates, nominees are Julie Karifi, Louis Valori, and James Vigilante. Today, there were questions raised with me in my office concerning the eligibility of Louis Valori to serve as a councilman. The question that was raised, or the concern that was raised, was whether or not an employee of the township, particularly the police department, is also eligible as a matter of law to serve as a councilman. The answer to that question is, under the law, a police officer is not eligible to serve as a councilman. There is a case, and the case is Dunn v. Froelich. It is a 1978 appellate division case. For those of you that are into legal citations, it can be found at 155 NJ Super 249. Again, it's an appellate division case. The case does not rest on a statutory prohibition or a regulatory prohibition. The case is decided based upon a common law theory or doctrine of incompatibility. I'll read to you what that says, and it may or may not mean anything to you, but then the court analyzed that doctrine within the context of facts that are directly on point with the facts here. The doctrine of incompatibility is whether the 2 offices are incompatible in their natures, in their rights, duties, or obligations connected with or flowing out of them. Offices are incompatible or inconsistent when they cannot be executed by the same person, or when they cannot be executed with care and ability, or when one is subordinate to or interferes with another, or where one office is under control of another. In this case, the Dunn court was confronted with the issue of whether a lieutenant in the police department could simultaneously serve as a councilman in the same municipality. The court said that he cannot. And the reasons given by the court were that the council is empowered to investigate municipal departments and officers, and to remove any municipal officers other than, of course, the mayor or member of the council. In light of that, the court said the lieutenant cannot simultaneously serve as a councilman of that municipality, because in the capacity as a councilman, the lieutenant would be statutorily charged with detecting and punishing misconduct within the police department. Now, in this particular municipality, they had a mayor-council Plan F form of government. So I wanted to make sure that the rationale for that form of government would apply to this form of government, the Faulkner F form of government. And, you know, there are very similar powers that the council has here as the council had in the Froelich case. including the power to remove any municipal officer for cause, and other powers that are very much the same and even broader than the powers that were enunciated by the court in this case. The principle of whether a police officer can simultaneously serve as an elected official in a municipality was upheld again by the court in 2010. And that case is the City of Wildwood v. DeMarzo. And again, for you folks who want to take legal cites, that case can be found at 412 NJ Super 105. And that is also an appellate division case. So then the question became, what is the status of Mr. Valori? Mr. Valori is on terminal leave, so he is not retired. He is an employee of the township. When we look at the applicable contractual provision that governs what it means to be on terminal leave, you really just have to read the first couple of lines. It says, the township agrees that prior to retiring, an employee may use any accumulated personal days and vacation days in that order, and then it goes on from there. The key there is it establishes that prior to retiring, so you're an employee may use. So when you have the employee status with the township, you cannot simultaneously serve as a councilman. Therefore, it is my legal view that Mr. Valori is ineligible to serve as a councilman. With that said, we then have another interesting set of facts, because the law provides that the county committee has 15 days within which to submit 3 names. The county committee has now submitted 2 eligible names. The statutory charge is 3. The law further provides that after 15 days, if the county committee doesn't submit 3 names, that the council can essentially choose whomever it wants at any time within the next 15 days. That would make 30 days from the date of the vacancy. I spoke with the Republican chair, Nicole Green, a short while ago to discuss this matter with her and to ask whether or not she intended to or could convene another meeting of the county committee, and she indicated that they could not. She said that the bylaws of the Parsippany Republican County Committee requires 72 hours notice before an emergency meeting, and that therefore and that therefore it was impossible for the county committee to convene another meeting between now and tomorrow evening. That being the case, and there's a meeting here, it is my view that the council is able tonight, if it so chooses, to select a person from the Republican Party to fill Mr. Cicero's seat. That person need not be from the 3 names that were submitted by the county committee, although this person certainly can be from the 3 names submitted by the Republican County Committee. And I think, Mr. Council President, that sort of concludes my remarks.
Okay. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to nominate.
Council President, based on what I've just heard, I would like to nominate Jim Vigilante to the Township Council.
Motion by Mr. DiPiero, second by?
Second.
Second by Mr. Greefy. Roll call.
Mr. Creefy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Farrar?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
By default and unfair, yes. Okay, well, Jimmy is not here to accept.
Jimmy is serving his country. He's in San Diego right now. He'll be back Friday. So at our next council meeting, we can swear him in.
Okay, at this time, move on to resolutions awarding the contract for health insurance broker of record services for Fair Loan Insurance Agency Incorporated, Access Point Incorporated, for 6-month contracts commencing January 1st, 2012. Mr. Farrar.
Resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills awarding contracts for the health insurance brokers of record service. Whereas the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hill has a need to acquire health insurance broker of record service as a non-fair and open contract pursuant to provisions of PL 2004, C 19 NJSA 1944. 19:44A-20.5 at SEC. And whereas the business administrator has determined and certified in writing that the value of these services will exceed $17,500, and whereas the mayor or the business administrator has recommended that 6 months contracts commencing on January 1st, 2012 be awarded to Fairview Insurance Agency Associates Incorporated, 25 Fairview Avenue, Verona, New Jersey, 07044, and AxiPoint, Incorporated, 2001, Route 46, Suite 504-8, Parsippany, New Jersey, 07054, to provide insurance broker a regular with the estimate annual commission of $300,000. And whereas the Fairview Insurance Agency Associates Incorporated and AxiPoint Incorporated will have completed and submitted a business entity disclosure certification, which certification provides that they have not made any reportable contributions to candidates committee, joint candidates committees, or political party committees representing the elected officials of the township in which in the 1 year period preceding the award of these contracts, and that these contracts will prohibit them from making any reportable contributions through the term of these contracts that will bar the award of these agreements pursuant to NJSA 19:44A-20.5 at SEC, And whereas Fairview Insurance Agency Associates Incorporated and AxiPoint Incorporated have completed and submitted a political contribution disclosure form and stockholder disclosure certification as required pursuant to NJSA 19:44A-20.26, disclosing all reportable political contributions, more than 300 per election cycle, made over the 12 months prior to submissions to the committee of the government entities listed in the form provided by the township, And now, therefore, be it resolved as follows, Number 1, that the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hill authorizes the mayor to enter into agreements with Fairview Agency Associates Incorporated, 25 Fairview Avenue, Verona, New Jersey, 07044, and AxiPoint Incorporated, 2001, Route 46, Suite 508, Parsippany, New Jersey, 07054, for insurance broker on record service, and that. Number 2, that the business entity disclosure certification, which incorporated the provision of Article 1, entitles prohibitions and contracts of order of Chapter 12, Contracts of the Township Code, political contribution disclosure, forms, stockholder disclosure, certification, determination of the value and certification of extraordinary unspecifiable service to be placed in the file of the office of the Township Clerk with the contracts and authorizing resolution, and Number 3, these contracts should be awarded through a non-fair and open process pursuant to NJSA 19:44A-20.5 and as a bid and sanction pursuant to NJS 48:11-5-1MN. Number 4, that a notice of this action be printed once in the official newspaper of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Farrar, second by Mr. DiPiero. Roll call.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Farrar.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes. Awarding contract for health insurance broker record services to Fairview Insurance Agency Associates for a 6-month contract commencing July 1st, 2012. Mr. DiPiero.
Resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills awarding a contract for health insurance broker of record services. Whereas the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills has a need to acquire health insurance broker of record services as a fair and open contract pursuant to the provisions of Public Law 2004, Chapter 19, NJSA 19:44A-2.5 et sec. And whereas the Township advertise for a request for qualifications from parties interested in providing health insurance broker of record services to the township, and whereas the mayor, business administrator, and director of purchasing for the township have reviewed the qualifications received and have deemed both responders to be qualified, and whereas the term of this contract shall be from July 1st, 2012 until December 31st, 2012, now therefore be it resolved as follows. 1, that the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills authorizes the mayor to enter into agreements with Fairview Insurance Agency Associates, Inc., 25 Fairview Avenue, Verona, New Jersey, 07044, contingent upon completion and submission of a business entity disclosure certification, which is in compliance with the Township Ordinance 10:02, Municipal Code Book 1, Chapter 12, not later than 10 days prior to entering into the contract. And 2, this contract shall be awarded pursuant to a fair and open process in accordance with NJSA 19:44A-20.5 et sec, and as professional services pursuant to NJSA 48:11-51 and A. So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. DePiero, second by Mr. Farrar. Roll call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Farrar?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes. At this time, we'll be having a hearing. The appeal by Mr. Frank Petrie for denial of mobile vendor license for Chubby's Hot Dogs. On behalf of the Parsippany Police, we have Officer Doug Wydance.
Hi, are you Mr. Frank Pitcher?
Yes.
Okay. Just, Mr. Council President, this is a hearing on an appeal of a denial of a mobile vendor license. Under your municipal code, those appeals are heard by the governing body. Just by way of brief background, on March 23rd of this year, Mr. Petrie filed an application with the Township Clerk's Office for a mobile vendor license. Mr. Petrie was proposing to operate a mobile food concession under the name Chubby's Hot Dogs, LLC, out of a truck in and around Parsippany and specifically Lake Hiawatha neighborhoods. A copy of Mr. Petrie's application is available and is part of the record. Pursuant to the Township Code, specifically Section 296-1, it is unlawful for any person to engage in the business, trade, profession, or activity of a mobile food vendor and/or solicitor without first obtaining a license, so he needed a license. Those applications, again, are made to the clerk's office. Once the application is made, it is received by the clerk, it is referred to the chief of police for investigation, and the applicant shall be denied a license if the applicant's criminal history record background check reveals a record of conviction of any of the following crimes. In New Jersey or elsewhere, any crime as follows: aggravated assault, arson, burglary, escape, extortion, homicide, kidnapping, robbery, aggravated sexual assault or endangering the welfare of a child, or possession of a weapon, or other than a disorderly persons or petty disorderly persons offense for the unlawful use, possession, or sale of a controlled dangerous substance as defined in NJSA 2C:35-2. Further, the Township Code provides that an applicant may be denied a license if the investigation reveals that the applicant's character, ability, or business responsibility is unsatisfactory. An applicant may also be denied a license for convictions of disorderly persons or petty disorderly persons offenses involving moral turpitude, or if the applicant's product, services, or activities are not free from fraud. The police department conducted an investigation, and we were informed that a criminal history revealed that Mr. Petrie had 2 arrests, at least one of which was for possession of controlled dangerous substances. Mr. Petrie did not disclose his arrests on his application form, and so Captain Chizecki from the police department recommended to the clerk's office that the application be denied. Again, in the event that a license is denied, the applicant may appeal to the council for a hearing, and there are certainly requirements with respect to the timing of the hearing, which we are fulfilling this evening. The police department, we were also advised that the police department recommended that Mr. Petrie's application be denied, and there's an email that I think you have as part of your packet recommending that denial from Patrolman Wiedens. On June 13, Mr. Petrie sent a letter of appeal to the Township Business Administrator, and that was received on June 14th. And his letter is dated June 13th and is part of the record. The Township Code does not set forth or specify any procedure regarding the appeal of the denial of a food vendor license. It simply states that the council shall hold its hearing and that its decision shall be final. And so this is going forward. Oh, by the way, in Mr. Petrie's letter, he admits to 2 arrests with regard to the possession of controlled dangerous substances and 1 arrest for driving while intoxicated. He claims that those arrests occurred in the 1990s and that they should have been expunged from his record. The Township Code, by the way, does not differentiate between expunged and non-expunged records. So that's kind of where we are. So, Mr. Petrie, you're here and able to plead your case. And I assume you're Patrolman Wiedens. And people have trouble with Inglesino, so I understand how you feel if I mispronounce your name, and my apologies. Mr. Petrie, you'll have the opportunity at this point to make your case to the council, but I would ask that you be sworn in so that your statements will be under oath. So if you'd be kind enough to raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. Please state your name and address for the record.
Frank Petrie, 902 Front Court, Newton, New Jersey.
Okay. Mr. Petrie, the floor is yours.
Okay. How you doing? Kind of nervous. I just feel I made a few mistakes in my past, and I've changed, and I really don't know what else to say. I didn't put them on my record on the application because I thought they weren't there anymore. I just made a mistake. I've changed in the last 11 years. I have a wife. She's with me now. She gave me a beautiful stepson, 2 granddaughters. I don't know really what to say. It's just people change. I've changed. And I mean, I just want to sell hot dogs, make an honest living. It's hard to find work out there. Chubby's, I'm not bringing any new businesses into this town. Chubby's Hot Dog Truck has been in this town for years. It's since '97 that I know, maybe before that. Different owners, the owner of the truck trusts me 100% to sell his product. People change. I mean, that's all. I don't know what else to really say. I understand what he just read. The last 11 years, I've gotten 1 speeding ticket. I just want to sell hot dogs. I mean,
Can I ask you, what did you do for Hanover Park High School?
I was a cook in their cafeteria for 2 or 3 years. They had the same background check. They let me work around kids. I only left because I was living in Whippany at the time, and I moved up to Newton. The commute, that's a long commute for the money they were paying me.
Second question. Did you put these charges on your Hanover Park application?
I don't think so. I can't say for 100% whether I did or not, but I don't believe I did. I think I just put the DWI for the same reason. The one in '93, I don't know. I don't even barely remember that when I was in college. The second one, what was it, 2001, I was told they wouldn't remain on my record. Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe I misunderstood the prosecutor or my lawyer. That's the only reason I didn't put them on. I wasn't trying to hide anything. I knew anything that would pop up in a background check. So, I mean, how am I really hiding it? I apologize for not putting them on. I should have. They were a long time ago.
You have nothing to do with drugs now, do you?
No, sir.
Absolutely nothing.
No. I don't drink.
Let me ask the council a question then. John, would it be possible, the man's trying to make a living, support his family. Could we grant a probationary permit or a permit for an interval and then make it subject to review, and if everything is fine? You know what I'm trying to say?
My recollection, although
I hate to
think
tell
also
a man he
that's way
can't
to
make a
know,
living.
The license duration, I think, is for a year. I think it's a year-to-year license.
Year-to-year license?
I believe that. Is that correct? Yeah, it's a year-to-year license. So, he gets a one-year license, he has to come back and renew the license. And by the way, this is totally within your discretion. If you want to grant him the license, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. It's your discretion.
When?
The years, Hanover Park.
A few years back, 4 or 5 years ago. I don't really.
2007, 8?
Somewhere around there, yes.
Okay.
Before,
I'm sorry. Other than what you said, is there anything you have to say other than,
I actually
The
want to
report-
hear from you,
yeah?
okay? I want your opinion.
Officer Vance, I guess that we should, if you could raise your right hand, too. Do you swear the testimony, well, first of all, let me swear you in. Raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please state your name and business address for the record.
Patrolman Douglas, Dance 3339, Route 46, Parsippany.
Okay.
We have very limited background checks that we're allowed to do based on state law for a license. It's mainly based on the fingerprint check, and then I did interview Mr. Petrie in our lobby. I then give my information to Captain Zizeki, who makes the call for the chief. Again, he made the decision based on that. It was not on the application. What Mr. Petrie wrote in his letter and what he's told you is exactly what he told me in the lobby, that he didn't believe, he didn't believe it was important since it was such a long time ago, and he believed it had been expunged. Sir, in regards to your question about the license, the fingerprints are every 5 years based on the township ordinance, but they have to renew through the police department every year. They only get fingerprinted once every 5.
Okay.
Okay, that's done through the state agency, Morpho Tracks, located on Jefferson Road. Okay, we're not allowed to check the disposition of the charges, only it comes up what they are. And I did discuss them with them in our lobby at headquarters.
Okay. Do you see any reason why we shouldn't grant this at this time?
Yes, sir. Based on talking with Captain Zizeki just a few hours ago, he had no problem with it. We just felt we had to do it based on our rules, based on what was not on the application.
Okay.
Mr. Petrie,
Well-
can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
I see your first arrest was in 1993, and you said you were young back then, college, or whatever it was. Then about 8 years later, 2001, you have a second arrest for a similar offense, for drug paraphernalia.
Hmm?
What happened in those 8 years? I mean, obviously, it was a reoccurrence.
What do you mean? What happened in those?
Well, I mean, in 1993, you were arrested for that. Then 8 years later, in 2001, you're arrested for a similar offense again.
Yeah, well, I'm not. I was in the car with my friend. He had drugs in his car, and we were both charged. I'm not making an excuse. The kid I was with was a good friend of mine my whole life. We went in 2 different directions. I cleaned up my act. He didn't. We buried him a few months back. And, I mean, that's all I can say about that. I mean, I'm not making an excuse saying, well, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, and I would have brought him with
Sounds
me.
like you were in the wrong place at the wrong
Well,
time.
I mean, I shouldn't have been in the car. I knew where he was going. I knew what he was doing. I should have got out of the car. I didn't. I went for a ride with him. He's not here to back me up on that. And that's the God's honest truth. I mean,
Well, I understand what you're saying, but you also said that you don't know what you put on the application in Hanover Park. Seems to me you're pretty consistent. You didn't know you did something wrong? You
No,
thought
I
it
knew
was
I
a
did
sponge?
something.
Oh, okay.
I knew I did it was wrong. I was told, and I could have misunderstood at the time that I plea bargained. I don't know what the charges were, what I actually got charged with.
Do you know them now?
No, because I didn't check into it. He said he just gets codes and he can't tell me.
I thought the lawyer read what you got caught with.
It's what I put down.
It was his actual letter he wrote.
That's what I put down.
Oh.
You said there was just codes. You didn't know what the actual charges were, right?
I wasn't asking you for codes. I asked you what you did.
That's what I
His
did.
letter said one was, DWI, and one was drugs.
Two.
Drug
Two were drugs.
paraphernalia.
Two drugs.
Two drugs.
93,
And
2001,
my question still stands. You said you didn't tell the school. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't have got that job.
Wasn't sure.
I thought they weren't on my record anymore. That's the only.
So you didn't tell the school?
No, but they found out with my fingerprinting, and they still allowed me to work there. They did the exact same fingerprint check. It was the exact same person that took my fingerprints. He still works there. And they did the same background check.
And you were not removed due to the fingerprints?
No, they allowed me to stay there and work. I don't have any excuses. I made some mistakes in my life, and I've changed in those 10 years. 11 years almost. The last arrest was 2001.
Well, I don't know if I feel comfortable with my kids coming to your hot dog truck to know what they're going to buy.
Going to be selling hot dogs. It's in an open area. Police troll it all the time.
Mr. Petrie, you were never charged with dealing any drugs
No,
or selling
never.
any drugs, were you?
No, never.
And you weren't arrested for that?
No, never.
If no one else has any questions, I'd just like a motion to grant the permit.
I'll second. Roll call.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
The man's trying to make a living, and time's tough. I say yes.
Mr. Ferrara.
Mixed emotion, but I'll give you a shot.
And may I just say for the record, I'm going to base my yes on what the officer from the police department has said in their recommendation.
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Open to the public.
Yeah, I guess...
Open to the public.
On this topic?
Well, there's really no guidelines in terms of how you conduct the hearing, so the question was raised as to whether or not you should open this hearing to the public. There's not a requirement that you do that because it just says that you have to have a hearing. It doesn't, the ordinance doesn't specify as to whether or not there has to be a public portion to the hearing. So that's within your discretion.
Want to have it? Go ahead.
All right, at this time, I'm going to open this up to the public, only on this hearing. See no one, would you like to come up? Just got to sign in. You'll be given 3 minutes. Okay.
Judy Tiedemann, 81 Iroquois Avenue, Lake Hiawatha. I believe you made the right decision because I believe that everyone in life that's trying to make a living deserves that opportunity. And it may be his second chance, but give him the chance. He was nervous. I believe he's sincere. It is not his hot dog truck. It's not even that he's going to make a major profit from him. He's just a working guy. And I commend you for doing that. And I am sure that the police will reconnoiter his area. But I think it was the right decision. And I think I needed to share that with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? At this time, I'd like to close the open session on this hearing.
Mr. Petrie, I would just like to add, and I agree with what Ms. Tiedemann said, that, I want you to have the opportunity to provide for your family. Please do not blow this opportunity that you're getting here, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Ryder.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to open this meeting up to the public. You'll be given 5 minutes to speak on any topic you choose. Don't worry, Roy, I wasn't going to close. I seen you looking around, hoping to go last.
I don't like to go first.
What do you got, 5?
Yeah.
I'll sign in when I just want to go quick, because it's been a long night, and I'm sure a lot of nervousness. Roy Messmer, 10 Drumlin Drive. I do want to put this on the record that what happened a half hour ago was all John Cesaro's fault, okay? All right. With that said, Mr. Inglesino, as you know, I always get the 1099s at the end of each year. This year, you're going to have a big 1099, because I am bringing up a lawsuit against the mayor for derogatory remark to my wife on Saturday, June 23rd at approximately 3:30 p.m.
he called my wife a dog. And what, you're not laughing because it is a joke. This was, Mayor knew I was going to do this. You have to, this is the mayor at his best. He is affable. He is a great joke teller and just a good guy that way. Well, what happened on Saturday, and I don't live in Sedgefield, but I'm in the next neighborhood, Carlos Gomez, I always say his Gomez, or Guzman, and Robert Roberti put together a dog, and this is important because this is what our town is all about, put a dog show together. Sheriff showed up. Couldn't bring the canine unit because not enough money in the budget, but that's okay. C&I dog. It was fantastic. And then they had the dog contest. Well, my wife entered our dog into 2 of the 7 or 8 contests. The first one was, she came in second. I yell out, I always come in second in this town. Mayor and everybody else laughed. The second contest my dog had entered, your dog that looks like its owner. That's where the joke comes in. My wife won that contest. So with my quick wit, I yell out, Mayor, you're calling my wife a dog? So that's the purpose of it.
If you saw his wife and the dog, they had the same style of hair going back.
So I also teased the mayor tonight, where's my dog bone? But with that said, now serious part. I did not realize, Mr. Inglesino, that we were going to go into a public session. I thought this was a special meeting. Now, I'm not trying to bust your chops. I'm not going to bring them. But this was advertised? I mean, okay.
It was noticed.
Okay, but for additional session now? I mean, I thought it was just going to be on who's going to be the next councilman.
It was noticed.
I don't care.
It was the usual language where
I'm just saying
any
for
other matters
future
that might
that we
come
don't
up.
make this mistake, like the mistake that was made tonight for Lou. Okay. But I do have this question. Fairview is our new insurance agent, is that correct? I'm a little confused. So Ada Viscacay is out? Okay. First question, is it the same dollar amount that Ada was getting?
Yes.
Okay. 2, why did we change that?
Well, it used to be they were co-brokers
Okay.
prior.
Oh, she's no longer partner with them?
She's no longer a co-broker.
Okay, well, that explains it. Talked about the legal advertising. Next thing, ladies and gentlemen, I knew about this law possibly coming down. Well, it was passed. I couldn't get in touch with I knew you had a hectic day. I wasn't going to call. And I'm not setting you up for anything, Jamie. Mayor, towns gain support for buying foreclosed homes out of affordable housing money. This is going to be a big problem. And you all know how I think about Senator Lenziak. Because any son of a gun, even though he's not directly representing me, he really is. 3 times I've been down to his office. Apartment taxation, other things, stacking, okay? I won't ever go down to his office again. But this is going to be big problems. Big problems. You think there's crime in this state now? Okay? Are you aware of this law, Mr.
I was
I don't
aware.
expect you. It just was passed yesterday. I'm not testing you. I'm sorry.
I was
You're
aware
laughing.
that Senator Lesniak had sponsored the bill.
Okay. If anybody wants this copy, if Peggy can turn on the copy machine, this is my only
It
copy.
may have been passed, but I don't think it's been signed by the
No, it
governor.
hasn't.
So it's
No, I
not
know.
law. So it's not law.
No.
It's still a bill.
But it passed. I know. But you know
The
where I'm
governor still
coming
needs
from.
to sign it.
Yeah.
You think he'll sign it?
No. But I just wanted to let.
I don't think so either.
No. But I'm just saying how bad things are getting. You know, we're using affordable housing money to buy foreclosed homes. And who's it? I tried to call Trenton today to get the list of people who voted and voted. You know and I know. It's the senators and the assemblymen from the inner cities where 90% of the foreclosed homes are in this country, this state. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Roy. Tell your wife I said hello.
The ultimate motion?
No, I saw that up. I can't do that. She might beat me.
Appetizer 182 Hawkins Avenue. It was very nice about the license. I'm glad you did that. It's always nice to give somebody a second chance. However, the Lou Valori debacle, I don't know how things happen in this town that they go so far and get stopped at the last minute. When people ask questions and they ask to make sure they're doing it the right way, they're told yes. And then at the last hour, they're told, can't do it. I think it's very disingenuous to the public. And And I just don't understand what goes on. So many things lately have come through here. And I think you guys should know a little bit more. You need to know.
If I may ask you, what are you insinuating? What are you insinuating,
I'm not
Mr. Lawler?
insinuating anything. I'm saying, why at the last minute did something come up when his candidacy has been out there? And now all of a sudden the lawyer's looking into it.
Well, it's not. I think each candidate, any candidate, has a due diligence for themselves. They got to find out if they can do such things.
Right. This candidate did. I talked to this candidate a long
Well, that's
time
what it
ago.
tells you.
No.
So, you want to, obviously you're choosing sides, and that's
I'm not
no.
choosing sides.
So
I
let-
just...
Before you even know what the facts
No,
are.
no, 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 no.
That's what I'm saying to you,
don't
Pat.
say
So,
that, Jamie. Don't say that, okay? I do know
And
facts.
I don't control who calls. I don't control who does what.
Okay. Please.
Yeah, let me just say something, too, because
Oh,
most of us were prepared to
I
vote
wanted
for
to say
Lou
something.
as the top vote getter. It was disappointing to learn this today, too. However, perhaps, and I don't know because I wasn't there, perhaps if Lou had asked the township attorney earlier about this pension this thing and got a legal opinion, a week ago or a month ago, perhaps, this would have been avoided. I don't know who you can fault with this. He thought he was on safe ground, and he wasn't. But the only one that can say for sure is the lawyer who reads those laws. It's unfortunate, and it's I feel bad for him. We had 4 qualified candidates at that county committee meeting last night. 4 qualified. I believe any of them would serve the township well. But this is the turn of events that we're faced with.
No, I just wanted to say there was something that I learned that I can't discuss with you that I didn't know either. That, I'm not